Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I would like to say thank you for coming in our video presentation. So, let us introduce ourselves. The member of the third group are Alexander Abiaz Zapinum Shakam, student number 060, Hilda Khairunisa, student number 079, Muhammad Fajar Karisma Putra, student number 052, Muhammad Rici Firdausi, student number 115, and Vera Nabila, student number 064. Alright, in this opportunity, we would like to present about the second material. There is 1. Definition about inflation, deflation, and the type. 2. Calculation of inflation gap and deflation gap. 3. Inflation gap curve and deflation gap curve. 4. How to overcome inflation. And 5. Inflation in Indonesia. Please enjoy this video. Definition of inflation. According to Akli 1993, inflation is a continuous price increase of goods and services in general. Inflation is a significant increase in prices caused by manufacturers. But if price increases only occur in one or two products, then it cannot be called inflation. Because inflation can be said if there is an increase in the price of a product and affects the product itself. In this case, we can take examples related to daily needs, such as the soaring price increase caused by the increase in consumption of people. The type of inflation. 1. Based on severity. First, mild inflation of less than 10%. Second, moderate inflation in the range of 10% until 30%. Third, heavy inflation in the range of 30% until 100%. Fourth, hyperinflation of more than 100%. 2. Based on the cause of the price increase. First, demand pull inflation. Simply put, this is due to the insistence of aggregate demand for an important commodity in the goods market to increase so that prices will rise. Second, cost push inflation. This is due to the increase in product cost then continued with a decrease in sales turnover. 3. Based on origin. First, domestic inflation. Inflation triggered by mismanagement of the economy in the country, both in the real sector and in the monetary sector, such as printing new money, or to overcome the budget deficit and crop failure in agriculture or supply of basic necessities becomes small. Second, import inflation. Inflation triggered by rising prices of foreign commodities in common with domestic countries. 4. By its nature of nominal digits. First, moderate low inflation or creeping inflation. This event is characterized by a slow increase in the price of commodity goods. The purchasing power of public is still quite high, and the value of the currency is still valuable, percentage below 10%. Second, galloping inflation. This incident is characterized by a rapid price increase with a relatively short travel time accompanied by a decline in purchasing power of the community. Percentage 10% until 99%. Third, hyperinflation. This event is characterized by a price increase that goes very fast up to many times over. This situation gives the currency less valuable value. Central policy can be applied by the government to overcome this. Definition of deflation. According to Stasia economist E.H. Sitohang, deflation is an event where in general the price of an item decreases. Deflation in the economy is a condition in a certain period of time which indicates a decrease in the price of goods or services in general. Impact on other sectors, such as workers' wages. This deflation occurs in part because of the lack of money in circulation in the community. Type of deflation. 1. Strategic deflation. Strategic deflation occurs due to the implementation of a policy of controlling the symptoms of excessive consumption in order to overcome rising market prices. 2. Circulation deflation. Circulation deflation occurs at a time of transition from economic success to economic downturn because of the consequences of the balance between production and consumption power. Therefore, there is a decrease in the price of passing in the economic recession due to the lack of need for excessive economic goods.
Question number 1. The noun in the text. Count 1. Inflationary gap or deflationary gap if the national production capacity is 240. 2. Inflationary gap or deflationary gap if the national production capacity is 300. Answer. First, find MPC by delta C per delta Y equal to 30 per 40 equal to 3 per 4. 2. Seeking autonomous consumption or A. C equal to A plus BY. 250 equal to A plus 0.75 times 300. 250 equal to A plus 225. A equal to 250 minus 225. A equal to 25. Then the C function is 25 plus 0.75 Y. Then look for the BEP. Y equal to C. Y equal to A plus BY. Y equal to 25 plus 0.75 Y. Y minus 0.75. Y equal to 25. 0.25 Y equal to 25. Y equal to 100. Then looking for the national income. Y equal to C plus investment. Y equal to 25 plus 0.75 Y plus 40. Y minus 0.75 Y equal to 25 plus 40. 0.25 Y equal to 65. Y equal to 260. If the KPN is 240, then saving equal to Y minus C. Saving equal to Y minus A plus B Y. Saving equal to 240 minus 25 plus 0.75 times 240. Saving equal to 240 minus 25 plus 180. Saving equal to 240 minus 205. Saving equal to 35. When the KPN is 240, the saving is 35, which means saving is lower than the investment. Then, at the KPN 240, there is an inflationary gap. But if the KPN is 300, saving is equal to Y minus C. Saving equal to Y minus A plus BY. Saving equal to 300 minus 25 plus 0.75 times 300. Saving equal to 300 minus 25 plus 225. Saving equal to 300 minus 250. Saving equal to 50. Because when the KPN is 300, the saving is 50, which means that saving is bigger than the investment. Then at the KPN 300, there is a deflationary gap.
Deflationary gap. If the equilibrium GNP is smaller than the GNP, which guarantees the achievement of full employment, there will be a deflationary gap which in the figure is not as big as AB. If the equilibrium GNP is greater than the GNP, which guarantees the achievement of full employment, then there will be an inflationary gap, which in the bond figure is KL.
How to overcome inflation? Given the importance of overcoming the problem of inflation, it is necessary to deal with it seriously. To overcome this, the first thing that must be done is to know the cause of inflation, so that ways to overcome it can be identified. Some economists agree that inflation is not only related to the amount of money in circulation, but also to the amount of goods and services available in society. Therefore, solving the inflation problem requires the right policies. There are three policies that can be taken to overcome the problems of inflation, namely monetary policy, fiscal policy, and other policies. Monetary policy. Monetary policy is any form of policy taken by the government in the monetary or financial sector with the aim of maintaining monetary stability in order to improve public welfare. Monetary policy includes A. Cash inventory determination policy. The central bank can take a policy to reduce the money supply by fixing the money supply and fixing the cash supply at banks. By reducing the money supply, inflation can be reduced. B. Discount policy. To overcome inflation, the central bank can apply a discount policy by increasing the interest rate. The goal is to encourage people to save. Thus, it is hoped that the amount of money in circulation can be reduced so that the inflation rate can be reduced. C. Open market operation policy. Through this policy, the central bank can reduce the amount of money in circulation by selling securities, such as government securities. The greater the number of securities sold, the less money supply will reduce the inflation rate. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is a measure to influence government revenues and spending. This policy can affect the inflation rate. Fiscal policy are as follows. A save on government expenditure. The government can reduce inflation by reducing spending, so that the demand for goods and services decreases, which in turn can reduce prices. B. Increase tax rate. To reduce inflation, the government can increase the tax rate. Increasing the tax rate for households and firms will reduce the level of consumption. Reducing the level of consumption can reduce the demand for goods and services, so that prices can fall. Other policies. To improve the impact caused by inflation, the government implement monetary policy and fiscal policy. But apart from monetary and fiscal policies, the government still has other ways. Other ways of controlling inflation are as follows. A. Increase production and increase the number of goods in the market. To increase the quantity of goods, the government can issue orders to increase production. This can be done by providing premiums or subsidies to companies that can meet certain targets. In addition, to increase the number of goods in circulation, the government can also relax the import tax. For example, by lowering import duties on imported goods. B. Setting maximum prices for several types of goods. This price fixing will control the existing prices so that inflation can be controlled. But the determination must be realistic. If the determination is not realistic, it could result in a black market.
Inflation in Indonesia. Since entering 2000, inflation in Indonesia has been increasingly under control. Even when entering national holidays, the resulting inflation is not high. This is due to the PSBB policy enforced by the government. The PSBB, which limits the movement of the community, causes the demand for goods to decrease, so that the price of goods will also go down. According to data from the Central Statistics Agency or BPS, inflation for the 2020 calendar year is 1.69%, lower than that in 2019, which amounted to 2.72%. In fact, inflation in 2020 is the lowest since BPS released inflation data. In historical records, the Indonesian nation has experienced inflation of 100%. This happened in the period 1960s. This inflation is also recorded as the highest inflation. This inflation was caused by government actions in the financial sector in August 1959, when President Sukarno issued a monetary policy without the approval of the Governor of Bank Indonesia. Sukarno imposed a sanitary policy or the cutting of 500 rupiah and 1000 rupiah denominations to 50 rupiah and 100 rupiah, respectively. In addition, another effect was the increase in the price of goods both in the interior and in big cities. The peak in 1966, inflation reached 653.3%.
Let's assume your monthly income were to somehow double. Congratulations! You can now, for the most part, afford to buy 2 times more stuff. But what if the monthly income of everyone else were to also double? Well, in that case, you'd no longer be able to buy 2 times more stuff, because since everyone else also earns 2 times more, there would be 2 times more money chasing roughly the same number of goods. Let's take things one step further. What if your income doubles, but the income of everyone else triples? In that case, you'd actually become poorer. Why? Because making 2 times more money is not enough to keep up with everyone else, who now makes 3 times more. If there's an overall increase in the price of goods and services of X% this year, you have to earn at least X% more than last year to avoid becoming poorer in real terms. History makes the effects of inflation crystal clear. Today, each dollar buys you approximately 39 times less potatoes than 100 years ago, or 20 times less coffee, 24 times less bread, and so on. When the prices of goods and services go down, we have deflation. Lower prices may seem like a blessing, but deflation is actually a curse because it generates a vicious circle. If prices go down, the profits of businesses tend to go down with them, and the economy suffers. A lot of people therefore either lose their jobs or have to accept lower wages. And what do people do when they have less money? They consume less. What happens if people consume less? There's less demand for goods and services. And what's the consequence of reduced demand? You've guessed it, an even bigger deflation problem. But can't those who haven't lost their jobs or had a decrease in income spend more to compensate? Well, they could, but that's probably not going to happen. Why? For the simple reason that seeing your neighbor face financial difficulties makes you more pessimistic as well, and therefore, even those who haven't yet suffered income or job loss will become more cautious and consume less. There you have it. Vicious Circles 101.